Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Building a Newsletter with Contineofy. My name is Josh. Today we are jumping into Substack. I'm not trying to be underwhelmed here, I promise. It's just when I jumped on Substack, I wasn't sure what was going on. I know I've seen Substack referenced quite a bit in the LinkedIn community where everybody's always saying, should you use Beehive or Substack? And a lot of people are like, you should go with Substack, like Substack all the way. And there are a lot of benefits to Substack, but from a positioning standpoint and how they promote themselves, it's very interesting. We're going to continue this interesting theme. Everything's interesting tonight. I did like Substack from a back-end standpoint. It was very simple to use and kind of promote. And I'm trying to understand like how long this platform's been around. And I don't mean anything bad, because it's like you jump on here and it's like Substack has 35 million active subscriptions, including more than 3 million of them being paid subscriptions. So it's like it's a good chunk of people. I think the big difference here is that this platform kind of positions itself as a writer's platform first. At least that was the take that I took on it. So it's very much a newsletter platform built for writers and very like cultural influential people versus the more like social media creating a newsletter type person. But interesting enough, like when I'm on LinkedIn, a lot of people are kind of touting it. Like a lot of my LinkedIn network is obviously software brands and big tech. So it's interesting that I'm seeing them touting Substack as well. I think that obviously the biggest benefit with Substack is that if you're going from a free perspective, there's no limit. I think that's probably what's driving a lot of this. That is like if you're looking for a newsletter platform that gives you all the capabilities from like a distribution standpoint and management, and they don't charge unless you want to put a pay gate in front of it, and you have unlimited. This is the route to go. So I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen. We're gonna dive into this a little bit. And you'll kind of see where I'm coming from with the trying to understand exactly what we're getting into with Substack. This is definitely one of the ones that is very much new on my radar. So it's like I'm not trying to say anything bad about Substack. It's just jumping on the website. It's just like what's going on here. There's a few great things that we'll jump into, and I'll show you that could drastically sway your decision to continue with like a bunch of the followers on my LinkedIn and people I connected with are like Substack. So let's jump into it. So right from the home page, you can kind of see building a new economic engine for culture. There's a big emphasis on culture, even going through here, like when readers pay writers and creators directly, like there's a big emphasis that this is very much a newsletter platform. It's created for creators, podcasters, video makers, musicians, scientists, and culture makers of all kinds. And the idea is like you're sharing your opinion, and a lot of the people on Substack, like, I mean, even the quote I shared that there's 35 million active subscriptions and 3 million of those are paid subscriptions. So there is a good community on here that if you are looking to monetize your newsletter and put a pay gate in front of it, that you can go that route. And yeah, the only caveat there is the pricing on this. Because the moment you put a pay gate on it, they charge the Stripe processing fees, which is usually like 3.5%. You have your taxes, and then they put a 10% on top of that. So right off the back, which, I mean, you put that in your costs and everything, but you're losing roughly 14-ish%, which isn't a lot, but it's still a good chunk of change. But kind of jumping through here really quickly, you'll see that there's not a lot of information. It's more of this that it's free. So you kind of jump into it and see it firsthand and then kind of decide if it's something you want to go. So it's definitely product led versus putting a lot of emphasis on all the capabilities on the website. But there are a few things that you can learn. So obviously the Go Paid, where we talk about this, the grow your audience and grow your publication on Substack. There's very much a lot of the capabilities that we saw in Kit and Beehive, where we can pay people to boost us. They have a whole team that helps with SEO. Again, this being more of a writer's platform, you can rely a lot on that because it's longer content from an SEO perspective to drive visibility for the newsletter. And then there's also what I thought was really cool is you have your recommendation engines where you can trade. I'll recommend you, you recommend me. You can do ghost posts, mentions, and cross posts. We're kind of sharing and collaborating, and then the referral program. But it's interesting that the Substack network drives 25% of paid subscriptions across the platform. And what they mean by that is if you come off of the homepage, typically lands you on the About page. If you go to the homepage, it's actually almost like a social platform where we can kind of come in here and actually dive into everybody's newsletters and kind of get an idea. And there's like a social media where we're kind of posting, but then it's also recommending posts that we can then segment by category, or we can search across the entire Substack community and be able to quickly find other newsletters, which is very cool because I didn't see this capability with Kit or Beehive. So this could be one of those things, especially like if you're a SaaS brand, you come in here, build a newsletter, share a few things. There's the SEO emphasis. There's a search bar that people could kind of come in here and be searching for different publications. And you could potentially engage with people that don't even know who you are and be able to grow your community. And then of course within the newsletter itself be linking out to your SaaS website and driving traffic back. That it could be a very interesting way that you could almost like repurpose your blog if you have one, or if you're doing webinars, sharing your webinars on Substack and kind of using this search mechanism to drive traffic back to your website. And considering it sounds, from at least the way they position themselves, this platform's going to do really well with SEO, it could be a way to kind of go about, especially when you're first starting out as a SaaS business owner, that your domain obviously doesn't have the authority, that it's going to be really hard to rank your blog posts, that you could potentially share them here. It's a similar play that you see a lot of brands doing with Reddit, because Reddit has really, really good SEO, and you'll see a lot of people repurpose their blogs and content and share it on Reddit, and it'll rank on Reddit, and then they'll edit the blog post and kind of at the top put a bunch of backlinks back to their website and drive that traffic off of Reddit back to their brand. So it could be a similar play as that you kind of share, and you could do both, like share on Substack, share on Reddit, and then potentially make it so that you're increasing your domain authority because you have like these really good backlinks, as well as getting a lot more visibility for your blog posts and your webinars and any of your more long formatted content by distributing it here. So interesting things to think about as you're kind of going down this path of where do we want to build our newsletter. And then of course, if you're just looking for, just the traditional newsletter path, it seems like Substack's like it's a good place to start because it's like there's no cost. So it's like you can have as many subscribers as you want, and it's not until you monetize it that you'll actually have to worry about paying. So it's an interesting position. And it's like I'm kind of sitting here just staring at the screen because there's not a whole lot to look at. Like this was the Discover, like what we just saw. You have your inbox, where as you're subscribing to different newsletters, you have this like feed of like when they update new posts, almost like social media, there's a feed. You can do featured, where you're like when people are on the home tab or the inbox of their personal Substack, there's a featured section kind of on the right. It shows up on the right hand side that you can have your your newsletter show up there if you want to get that some more visibility. And then again, like the Beehive, there is the podcasts that you can use Substack as your podcast hosting, so that you can host your podcast, monetize it, and then you get a RSS feed that then you can share out to all of the bigger podcasts like Spotify and iTunes and Google. But this could be a place where you're hosting it, and it's free. So if you're wanting to go that route and looking for a home for your podcast. But yeah, I'm not trying to like play this down. It's just there's not a lot going on forward facing that kind of gives you an idea of what this is for and what it's about. Like I said, it's free at scale, so they're definitely relying on you to kind of try it for yourself I mean, within a few clicks, you're in the platform. And the next couple of videos, we're going to go on the behind the scenes of each of the platforms and kind of show from a usability how it is kind of using the platforms and building and distributing it and everything and integrating it with either HubSpot or wherever you're wanting to push back your subscriptions if you want to get the permissions to cross-pollinate, lack of words, with your software platform. Obviously, you'll want to put some terms and conditions in there that when they subscribe for the newsletter, they're going to get pushed back to your marketing. So you'll want to get those permissions, especially if you're overseas from a GDRP standpoint. But yeah, I think that's going to do it for this video. If you guys were excited about Substack, say you're excited in the comments. Definitely like the video. But yeah, I'm sorry that this was a little shorter than the other ones. There just wasn't a lot of stuff to share on the front end. But I'll definitely show the back end in a couple videos, and you'll see that there is a lot more to Substack than they allude on the front end of this website. But yeah, if you guys are excited about this series, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. A lot more videos, especially in this newsletter. We'll continue building the series, get behind the scenes, actually build out some posts on all 3 platforms, and then kind of play around with the functionality and see if we can get our first handful of subscribers. In the next couple of videos, I'll actually be sharing the links to the platforms as well. So depending on which platform you're choosing to play around with, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. I'd definitely like to see you engage with it. You subscribe to mine, I'll subscribe to yours. So if you're subscribing, either message or comment if there's comments available. I'm not even sure yet. But if all else fails, drop a link to your newsletter in the comments on the YouTube videos, and I'll be sure to jump out and subscribe to it. So as always, my name is Josh, Contineofy. Until next time, see you later.